Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI summer season. We're today for the Hungarian Grand Prix round 2, the Saturday tier this time around. We're on board with Blake right now. What can he do down near the bottom area at the moment? We'll see what he can do. That's retiring from the session as Tommy Gunn. So he's going to start at the back. He does get the benefit of free choice retires though by doing so. So maybe that is what he's looking for. Brody tops the times at the moment. Davin in P2, JMO in P3. Let's see what he can do. Dark Salt now driving for Red Bull. Davin, of course, is driving permanently for McLaren on the Saturday tier. Alfa Romeo on the Friday tier like he did yesterday. And then we do have Tommy Gunn, reserve driver Reese. First time appearance this season, so great to see them. And it's very, very squabbly between JMO and Dark Salt right now. There's a bit of movement as that's Breezer also retired from the session. I think Larlick just moved down the order a little bit. We're going to go and watch on board with the Broadster as he comes round the final few corners. PJ doing the same thing as the Alfa Romeos. Brody comes round the final corner. What time's it going to be? Is it going to be better than his last one? And it's a 14.8. I think that's very close to what he did yesterday. Well done. Another pole position under his belt. Lovely stuff indeed. That puts him on the front row for, I think that's the third time this season. Fourth time this season, actually, I should say. JMO, Brody, Dark Salt are the top three. There is the rest of the grid. The only one qualifying was a Ballant on that medium tyre. Everybody else was on the softs or retired from the session. We'll be back in a bit. We'll see you in a minute. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI summer season. We're here today for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We're here today for the sprint race, just underway on the formation lap, getting ready. We've got something a little bit interesting right now. We just witnessed Brody cross the line to take pole position, but as you can see on your screen, leading the way is a Williams. So JMO's on pole. He actually got third, I believe, or was it second, when we saw everybody crossed the line, and now he's got pole. So no one said anything in chat, and I'm wondering if we've seen something different. That means JMO's on pole position, or on pole, Brody in P2, and then Dark Salt's in P3, so Red Bull 2 and 3, Davin in P4, Norch on their return for a while, great to see them. We've got Blake in P6, Larlock, followed by Ballant, Reese, PJ Breezer, and then we have Tommy Gunn finishing off the order. So the two Alfa Romeos starting at the back. I assume they're going to go for the medium tyre. We're actually going to have a quick double check on the tyres just to see, and yes, they do all go for that tyre. But yeah, we'll see you in a minute for the race. Hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Lights out and away we go down to turn one. Who's going to get it? Looks like J-Mo gets away well. Can the Red Bulls fight back? No, they can't. What a start from J-Mo. Will the Red Bull on the inside try and have a go on the middle? Yes, he will. Lovely stuff right in that curve, taking as much as they possibly can, and they get a lovely exit. Brody and J-Mo side by side now has the inside line. Is it going to be enough, or is it going to be an outside maneuver? Well, yes, it will. Well done to Brody. Takes it away, and that's J-Mo going off track a little bit. There's a yellow flag at the back, and that's Larlock having some issues. And unfortunately, I don't quite know what happened there. That's a turn 2 for them. Hopefully they can get back in this. The two Alfa Romeos taking it pretty cautiously, of course, on their strategy. I think that's fair enough, unless they've had an issue. I don't quite know, but J-Mo down to P2 off the line. Darksort holds P3. Davin staying in P4 as well. Blake in P5. We've got Norch, Reese, and then we have PJ leading the medium tire runners. These guys squabbling up ahead at the moment. Norch on the outside. Reese goes very late on the brakes, and a little bit of a squeeze, a little bit naughty. I think it's just about fair, as long as they didn't get damage, but they carry on through for now. Balint right behind the fellow Hungarian, their home Grand Prix today. So brilliant stuff for them. Great to see them both here. On that medium tyre is Balint, so he's taking the alternate strategy. And we have PJ right behind having a quick look, but Balint leads that strategy, or leads the train, of course. We do have, unfortunately, breezed into the pit lane, and he pulled off a mega one-stop strategy yesterday, and he wasn't on the hard, so I don't know what's happened. He must have had an issue, and that's unfortunately going to put him on the back foot there. Now, looking at the top two, Brody in P1 on that soft tyre. The same for J-Mo. He's right there as well, right there. So, as we saw in Austria, he did make a couple mistakes. He was quick, but he made a couple mistakes, and that's Norch out on the exit of turn 5, I believe. Yes, it is. On the exit of turn 5 right there, and that's a virtual safety car deployed. And, okay, that's an interesting place to actually crash the car. Obviously, they're out for the sprint race, and they'll still get a second chance in the feature race, but that is not an ideal situation to be in. I'm not really quite sure how that's gone about. Now, for everybody, it depends on how you look at things. Is it good for the soft tyre runners because their tyres are going to cool down, or is it bad because their peak performance will not be, I don't know, enabled? Darksalt doesn't pit, however, J-Mo, followed by Davidson, Reese, they all pit under the virtual safety car, so they're going to gain some time. Not much, because it ended pretty soon, but they'll gain some time. Unfortunately, Blake has found himself speeding under the virtual safety car conditions, and that's going to be a drive-through for them within the next 3 laps, so wonder when they're going to take that. I would be thinking they're going to take it in a lap or 2, but maybe they have a different process, a thought process. They might be thinking something else. I'm not the pro here. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Darksalt in P2. They got a 2-second gap between themselves and their teammate. And, of course, a almost 3-second gap between themselves and the car behind. So currently, the 2 Red Bulls leading the way by a nice bit of a margin. J-Mo will have gained some time. And it will allow him to get an extreme undercut, but I think that's probably going to be way too early for a pit stop, and it's not really going to actually benefit them enough. An undercut wouldn't gain you enough time. I don't quite know. He's probably gained. Let me have a stab and say about a second. He's going to gain about a second because of that. But I think by the time Brody's there, I think he's going to catch up a lot. Of course, when J-Mo does come out, he's going to come out a little bit further ahead. He will get that undercut. He also does have traffic, though, to get through. So that is actually one thing that maybe he didn't think about instantly. So now he's got to get past all these cars. And at a circuit like Hungary, it's not too easy to do that. PJ has made the move on Balint. I can't quite remember if it was recently or not, but he's now that lead medium tyre runner. He's just waiting for those soft tyre runners to make their pit stops. And we should see people hitting around about lap 5 to 7, maybe 8 if you wanted to extend on the soft tyres, and of course, otherwise onto the medium tyres. So we'll see. Possibly, maths does not go well with me, honestly. Lap 13, lap 12, 13. They might go until then. Maybe earlier if they really wanted to. Of course, DRS will be a factor. You can gain some time in it. It does help you a lot. Balint, he has got it. Yes, he has, from the car ahead. Not going to be an attacking distance, but it will allow him to hold on ahead of Tommy Gunn just for a little bit more. Good to see Tommy Gunn back in it as well. It's been a while, but yeah, awesome to see them. And hopefully they can make this a good result. Unfortunately for their teammate, though, they have had a bit of an issue with the strategy. So I think they have unfortunately had some damage, but right now it looks like they've got it under control. They just need to try and keep plodding on with those lap times. And I think at the stage that they're at with this race, they have gone for the right tyre, because otherwise they will not be able to make it to the end of the Grand Prix. Now, Reese has gone and got themselves a time penalty, unfortunately. So that's not going to help them later on. They have pitted early for that medium tyre, so they should be able to get a bit of an undercut. Davins, he pitted for that hard tyre, so he's definitely going to the end. He wants some very consistent grip throughout the race, and he might have an advantage over Reese and JMO later on. We'll have to wait and see how that plans out. Now, JMO's just passed 2 fellow Americans, one including his teammate as well, so I assume they probably didn't make that too hard for JMO. Of course, Blake did have to serve that drive-through, which they already have done. Larlock, I don't know if they fought it too much, but as they're on similar strategies, Blake is going to have to defend, maybe not really hard, but he's going to have to defend somewhat to not allow Davin and Reese to get through. That's if they catch him in time for the pit stops. So we'll have to see, because he will be pitting on schedule in a couple of laps' time. But JMO doing a good job. They've got a nice bit of clean air ahead of them, so they can just focus on the pace. But one guy that has really focused on the pace and gained over double what we saw earlier on is Brody. He's really got it going on right now, and I'm talking about driving, nothing else. Don't make it weird. As he's coming around the final few corners. Is he going to make the pit stop? Yes, he will. As expected. There you go. Indeed. On to lap 7. So he did go for that slightly later scenario to try and give himself a benefit on the medium tyre. And compared to the people who were racing earlier on off the line, he will have an advantage anyway later on in the race. Where will JMO come out according to Brody? Brody is very far ahead. Is he far ahead enough? I think that traffic has really cost JMO quite a few positions. He's going to get a purple sector, and he can see Brody right there up ahead of him, but he hasn't gained that much. So that virtual safety car has pretty much cancelled out the traffic in the end, so that probably wasn't the best idea. It was definitely worth a shot, worth an attempt, but it didn't go quite to plan in the end, and that is going to be a little bit of a sticky situation for them. They've got those extra 3 laps on the tyres. They're going to have some nice warm tyres here. They've got a purple sector, but is it going to be enough? As they make a mistake, maybe they want to put the pressure on a little bit more, but they put the pressure on too much on that throttle pedal. It causes them to lose the rear just a little bit. Not ideal at all. Alrighty. Dark Salt leads the way. Just need to quickly check something out. That is Dark Salt into the pits, of course. Do apologise for the short delay. Thank you for the patience. Just want to get this sorted, and then we should be good to go. And then we should. Awesome. Sorry for that. I just wanted to double check a couple things, and we should be good to go. Luckily, we haven't missed too much, although Dark Salt has come out right around these guys, right around Davins. He's in between, I was going to say Reese and Davins, but unfortunately Reese isn't actually within attacking distance right now. Davins, of course, he is behind these guys now. They've got a bit of an undercut on him, but he's going to be a lot quicker compared to Dark Salt, and he's going to be a lot quicker compared to Blake, who's made a big mistake on those tyres, really struggling for grip, and this is brilliant for JMO. It's really, really helping him quite a lot. We're going to have to go and watch these guys, though, as Brody's going to go for a bit of a send on the Aston, not waiting around at all. Really wants to make those moves. He knows he needs to, and now JMO's got 2 cars in between him and the race leader, so very, very well executed for PJ there, Brody, I should say. And then now Balint and Tommy Gunn have got JMO attacking. JMO will catch up and have a go on Tommy, but he's not going to be able to get close enough to Balint. So he's going to have that move, and he really needs to try and think of something creative if he wants to fight Balint. But Tommy is fighting it. He's not giving up. On the inside line, he still holds it. As they go through turn 2, now to turn 3, JMO is ahead. He emerged ahead, and lovely stuff for him. Now, Dark Salt made that move, and Blake's gone into that pit lane, so Davins is now going to have to try and hold on, or just wait it out. And Tommy's out on the exit of turn 4, so they've taken a little spin, and that brings out the safety car. That does help massively the likes of Balint and PJ. Brody doesn't need to pit, but JMO might have to think of it. I'm not sure, unless they really want just track position here. That is a very interesting time to pit. You have to go for that medium tyre. Davin is going to have a great opportunity. Breezer is absolutely saved here. Reese, though, his time penalty is going to be a little bit difficult to sort out, but you know, he still does get a great opportunity here. We do have enough laps remaining of this race to get him a bit of a gap. So we'll have to see how this goes. Brody pits, PJ pits, Balint and JMO all in the pits. I assume Dark Salt's going to follow on, or is he going to go for that track position? Too late now. Davins goes into the pit lane. Is Dark Salt going to take the lead of the Grand Prix? Yes, he will. So from one Red Bull to another. PJ. Now, who did just jump them there? That was Reese going for that track position. He knows what he's got to do with that time penalty, and that's actually, despite having quite a bit of age on those tyres, probably a big brain move. Everybody else is going to be very quick, but if he can hold on just about, and if I don't know, if he can hold on, then that time penalty is going to be very difficult for him, for other people to actually catch up, and he might be able to use this as an advantage. I don't know what PJ just did. That was weird. Hopefully it didn't give anybody a penalty. Let's have a double check. It didn't, luckily. But it might have given PJ damage. I don't know what quite happened there. The pit stops are as such. Positions gained 7 by Reese, 7 by PJ. And actually PJ not making that pit stop has gained an absolute ton. And he's also, in theory, inherited the race lead, but the other guys ahead aren't actually going to pit, so Dark Salt is the lead car. He also has a nice fresh set of tyres on that car. Only one driver with a time penalty, and 2 drivers out of this Grand Prix, the Aston of Norch and the Alfa Romeo of Tommy Gunn. But Breezer, his teammate, does get into contention for some good points here, so let's see what they can do. If they can get some points, of course. Top 8. And it goes 8 points for the win. Fastest lap also does count, and onwards all the way down to P8. There's no reverse grid, so wherever you finish in the sprint race is where you qualify for the feature race. Now, we're not going to be going in just yet. Is anybody going to try and make some late decisions to go into the pit lane? Don't quite know. I don't think so. I think that's just going to be it, and then we'll be going racing once again on the next lap. We have Dark Salt leading the way. Reese is right behind him, followed by PJ, and then we have Brody in P4, Balint P5, Blake P7. We have Davins in P8, Larlock in P9 after their issues earlier on in the race, so they're back in it as well, and Breezer, of course, at the back of the grid. But only got to gain 2 positions to get into the points. I don't know, will the softs be able to do it? Of course, PJ, Brody, Ballant, JMO, Lilac and Breeder, they all think so. Personally, I would prefer to go for that medium tyre, although by the time we actually get restarted, it might be a decent amount of time for the softs. So, yeah, actually, never mind. The softs are the way to go. I think. I'll say that. The softs are the way to go. I think that's what we're going to be going with. And Dark Salt just needs to wait for that confirmation. And then he will be leading the Grand Prix under green flag conditions. He's got 2 lap-old mediums. They're not going anywhere on pace. It just depends if the other cars behind will catch up or not. Safety car in this lap. Reese has got to react as best as he can, and he's got to hold on for dear life with that time penalty. Dark Salt. Wait for that safety car to come in and not get caught out like Brody did yesterday. It's very tricky to get right around here because that limiter does catch you out. Is he going to go for it early? Don't know if you'd call it early. He's kind of building up the speed, and now he's gone for it. Lovely stuff. Doesn't get caught out, goes a bit over the curb. Almost loosey-goosey, but they firm it nicely. Reese in P2, they're holding on nicely as well, and that is Dark Salt successfully taking the lead of the Grand Prix, and that's a bit of a situation we got here with PJ and Reese now. PJ on the inside, Reese makes a mistake, and Brody trying to have a look, and I don't believe what I've just seen! Brody gets damage! No way has that just happened! Reese moved to the right-hand side, and that's Brody off the circuit, and I believe that is damage, right? Or have I just seen something else? Am I seeing something else? Yes, he does. He does have damage. That's on the left-hand side of the wing. That's going to allow the Williams to go through. And that is not ideal for the championship leader. Yes, he's a reserve driver, but he's still leading the championship. Going to have to make a pit stop, and I don't believe what I've just seen once again in the sprint race. The safety car does not help Brody out. Well, it's got to be careful, Brody, with that damaged wing. Not going to be able to make a move just yet, but on the exit they will, with all that understeer that the Red Bull has. All of everybody is going to be making moves. This is going to be a bit interesting with the Alfa Romeo. They do back off and allow Brody to go into the pit lane. I don't know what I've just seen, and now that does allow Dark Salt to hold on to the lead. He's now the lead Red Bull, the only one in the points. PJ is right behind on that soft tyre. Could he go for a win here? He's won sprint races in the past. He won our first ever sprint race back in Austin a couple seasons ago, that was. I think that was 2 seasons ago. That was an official race, and he took the win, the first ever one. Can he do it again here? That would be awesome to see, but also Dark Salt would really like another win to his name. He's done a very good job. He's done a very good job, and very lucky with that strategy. PJ's also done a pretty good job, but Dark Salt, he needs to score these points for Red Bull right now. LSI Reese in P3. 9 laps on these mediums, but he's holding on nicely. He's got JMO right behind. JMO was on pole position and fighting for the win earlier on, but the safety cars haven't really played into his hands. It's a little bit of a difficult situation, and he's broke very late compared to Reese there. Narrowly misses contact. Very, very careful. And he's now going to make the move work around the outside. He's got a lot of grip, but Reese is going very wide. That's an interesting situation to be in. Jeremy goes for the move. ERS is being used by Reese. He wants to try and fight back. Even with that time penalty, to the outside he'll go as JMO defends to the inside. A switchback and another tap for Reese, and that is JMO making a bit of a mistake, and Reese goes round. That is not ideal, but I think that's what just happened, or what just had to happen, because JMO, of course, couldn't really do much about that. And that's Ballant in P4 now, moving up the order. Reese retires from the session. So that is it for them. they will not be scoring any points, and balance will be moving up to P9. Brody will now be in contention for a point. You've got Blake right here. They don't have DRS on the car ahead, but I tell you what, Breezer's got it on the brakes. He's going to try his best to make the move, but braking early is Blake, and he's going to allow that Alfa Romeo to go through. Not going to try anything there. He's just going to wait. Not wait. He's going to just let him go and then try and fight back in a minute, maybe. I don't know. That's an interesting situation to put himself in. He'll get DRS here, but it's not going to be enough. It is for a very big send, a wheel bang and a half. A lot of contact, and the Alfa Romeo will regain the position to the outside, and Larlick having a look to the inside, goes defensive, does Blake, and that is contact as well there with Breezer. More argy-bargy. That's interesting stuff from these guys. I don't quite know what just went on there. Now, looking back with the race leaders, Dark Salt is now trying to find himself at plus 1 second gap, but right now he just can't do it in the corner sections of the circuit. PJ should have the advantage unless the switchover has already occurred. Of course, they've got a few more laps on these tyres if they want to get to the end of the Grand Prix. Just over 3 laps, we're about to cross the line, and this time Dark Salt has extended, and he's looking for a win. Funnily enough, that day that PJ did win the sprint race, Dark Salt won the feature race. Here we go, JMO going for the move on PJ, promotes himself up to P2 on that soft tyre. Let's see if he can catch up and pass Dark Salt, but he makes a big mistake. He goes off circuit. DRS will still be available to him, so PJ's not going to be able to challenge anytime soon. We have Valen in P4. They have Breezer right behind them, and Breezer in P5. So that was Blake that was fighting Breezer early on with Larlick as well. They had a bit of a scuffle. Breezer's managed to get nice and close to Valen. Larlick not so much, but they do have a bit of a battle on their hands with, of course, Blake right behind them. And Breezer try and get himself onto the podium here. It'll be a very, very big ask with the gap that he's got, but he's had some incredible races this weekend. 2 wins yesterday, 2 out of 2. He's taken a P2 in Austria, and another points finish. I don't know if it was 4th or 5th in the feature race. So he's got 3 podiums out of 4 races that he's competed in. Right now it's looking a bit unlikely for a podium, but still a P4 on the table at the moment, and that'll be some really solid points as well. And that's actually JMO already past Dark Salt. Dark Salt has the outside line. Bit of a maybe lag was that, and he reacts to the Williams to avoid contact, and he's just going to let JMO go through. He doesn't want to fight him anytime soon. Just hold on for now. Can Dark Salt keep that DRS? That's the question. This is for the win, of course. JMO currently really using those tyres. They're going to die out in a lap or 2. They're going to die out pretty much as they cross the line. So they should be good. It's just, can Dark Salt turn it around, or is it going to be Williams' first win in a while? I say that their last win was with Brody as a reserve driver, so it wouldn't be too long ago. Alrighty. Looking back at the closest battle, we got Breezer going for a move on Valen. To the outside line he goes. Going to get DRS again to secure the move as they go side by side down to turn 2. No question about it. Holds it now, and he's going to go into turn 2 and exit towards turn 3 ahead of the Aston Martin. A textbook move performed by the Czech driver. Lovely stuff indeed. And balance down to P5. Still some points on the table for him. And a P5 starting position for the feature race. PJ has actually lost a bit of time. So I was saying that Breezer wouldn't be able to get onto the podium. He's lost quite a bit of time, actually. And Breezer now is going to be on the podium. He's got a time penalty as well as PJ. So even if Breezer doesn't get past the AlphaTauri, he's going to take it anyway. And look at that, we're already on lap 18. This guy's done an amazing job. Takes pole position and just about takes the win in the end. Gets some great pace. Jamo is going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix sprint race. Very well done indeed. Dark Salt will take P2 in the end. PJ going to drop down to P4 after that one. P5 even, as Breezer will hold on to a podium. P4 for Balint. P5 for PJ Lal. Blake Brody taking the final points, and then Davance will finish in P9. Still, it's at least a P9 start, and free choice of tyres for everybody anyway, so he is in the mix. Well done though, well done. Jamo takes his first win. Of course, he won in the NA tier a while ago, and I say when he did win, he won multiple times. But it's been a while, and he's finally shown himself. Breezer driver of the day. I think that's something we can all agree on there. Well done indeed to those three. Jamo, Dark Salt P2, Breezer P3, Balint PJ, and we have Blake Brody with a fastest lap, so he gets 2 points in the end. Davant finishes off the grid, and the DNFing earlier on was Reese, Tommy, and Norch. Skimming through the rest of the results and the incidents and of course the pit stops, and then we'll be back for the feature race. We'll see you in a bit. Alright, we'll be right there in a bit. See you in a minute. Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI summer season. We're here today for final time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, the feature race of the Saturday tier. It's going to be a good one. We have some rain forecasted as you can see, but everybody's on the slick tyres. So it's a little bit of a tricky one, a very, very tricky one, a nice and greasy circuit. Personally, I like these conditions. Other people may not do so much. I don't quite know. But we don't know what the circuit's going to be like later on, if they need to make pit stops for wets, or if it's just going to get drier throughout. We don't quite know. But what we do know is JMO lines on pole position for the second time this evening. Very good job, and that is the AlphaTauri round on the formation lap. So their tyres are going to be nice and toasty. But that's not ideal. Tommy Gunn also DQ'd along with Norch on the formation lap. So really not ideal for those guys. PJ's going to have some very, very toasty tyres. And Norch and Tommy Gunn will have some very cold tyres. Really not doing too well there with those tyres. But it is what it is. Now, we have J-Man, of course, Darksoul in P2, Breezer in P3. We have Balin in P4, PJ in P5, Larlock, Blake, Brody in P8, Tommy and Norch, followed by Vortex, who joined just earlier on for the feature race. And also, it's something to say that Larlock is actually in Alpine. It just put him in Mercedes, unfortunately. But we'll get that sorted in the standings. They'll still score points for Alpine. But, yeah. Alrighty, hold your breath and clench your butt cheeks. We're about to go racing for the Hungarian Grand Prix, the final time this weekend. Let's enjoy it. Lights out and away we go down to turn one. Who's gonna get it? Brody? Not Brody, that's Jamo spinning the wheels off the line. And what a start from Darksoul. Really well done from him. He absolutely nailed that one. We got the Aston on the inside into turn one. It's gonna be a little bit tricky. The AlphaTauri going all the way off the circuit. PJ really not coping well. Oh, and that's a big one. No way. That's the pole sitter. Jamo's round on the exit. Turn one. I don't know if that was contact, but somehow that's not a safety car. Debris everywhere. What on earth just happened? We need to know. I'll try and find out, but if I can't, then we'll have to just look at it after the race. I don't know what just happened, but that is one Williams down, and Darksoul once again inherits the race lead. I don't believe what I've just seen. Breezer finds herself in P2. That is a Aston squabbling over the curb there. Brody already up to P4 after their issues, of course. So really well done to them. And then we have Ballant in P5, PJ in P6 after going wide. So they do still hold on. And then we have Vortex in P7, Norch in P8. Larlock down to P9, unfortunately, and Tommy into P10. And after their issues with under the formation lap, they've just got to try and get back in it. But these tricky conditions are getting to the better of some drivers. And I don't know what happened to JMO there, if it was just a mistake or if there was a crash. We'll have to look at it later on. But yeah, that was an interesting one. Now, Breezer finds himself in a brilliant position, but Dark Salt's extremely quick. These guys, I think, were fighting back in Austria, actually, and they were in a bit of a DRS train together, and that did actually allow Breezer at the very end to get P2 in the sprint race. This time, they're not in DRS. Of course, it's wet conditions. It's very damp conditions. It's not quite enough for wet tyres, though. We've got Blake holding on in P3 and Brody in P4. Now, Blake doesn't have to defend for his teammate because his teammate's no longer in this Grand Prix. And as it stands, if you finish this race, you will score at least 1 point. Blake's gonna, I should say, Brody's gonna want to try and get through as soon as he can. Of course, his teammate leads the way. They also need to try and get the pit stops right here as well. So it's a benefit that Darksalt will now have. Didn't have such a benefit last time around when the safety car came out, but this time it's a lot better. And that's PJ losing another position. With those tyres, it's just really not too easy. So they do go down to 7th place, a fastest lap for Darksalt there. Could we see Brody go for an overtake? Not quite yet. In these wet conditions, it's just so difficult. You have to absolutely nail that exit. Let's have a quick look. So we'll put the data up on the screen, of course. Position changes, 5 positions gained from Vortex, starting at the very back of the grid. So really well done to him. Pit stops are as such, the bottom 2 making earlier stops. And onto the inters they do go, tyre-wise, as we see no one with time penalties, so we'll leave it on this situation. Now, Ballant, Vortex, PJ, Tommy, all going for a set of medium tyres. So they're going slightly longer. And Darksalt, Breezer and Blake, they have all decided to go for that soft tyre. So maybe the rain is coming in and that's why they're pitting or starting on those soft tyres. I think was that PJ having another issue, unfortunately. So I don't quite know what happened there, but we'll have to see what happened later on, of course. But as we were trying to say, Norch, Larlock, both on that inter tyre. So they're indicating that it's going to get wetter. I don't know. Norch is back into the pit lane and they've put another set of inters on. So I think it is only going to get wetter. Darksalt stays out. Yes, he does. He is staying out. Everybody in this lead train is staying out. So we're just going to watch on board. Darksalt goes for a fastest lap there. Brody's closer than he was on the last lap, but not close enough to actually go for a move. They just need to really nail an exit. Maybe here could be a good one, but they're using that curb to hook the car around the corner, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but that is Blake making a mistake. That's going to put him under threat from Brody. This is a perfect opportunity for Brody. Can he use his normal line to get an advantage? Is he going to be able to get alongside into turn 4? I think it would be very, very risky if he did. It's definitely not worth it. And he holds on for now. Unfortunately, PJ having more issues in these tricky conditions. Larlock makes another pit stop now as well. I don't quite know what's going on, but it looks like that intermediate tire maybe isn't the one. I don't know. It seems to be quite tricky to actually handle. Well, it goes onto that medium tire. So maybe it's not getting wetter. Maybe it's actually getting drier. I don't know. Maybe they didn't check the forecast. But we don't know the forecast. We just have to wait and see what happens, honestly. Unless we get the voice of another driver. But right now, it's just going to be what it is. Now, Brody had an opportunity, but just didn't quite get it done. Dark Salt stays out to start lap 4 out of 5 and gets another fastest lap. Fastest lap out for fastest lap. He is that lead car. He does get a nice advantage from doing so. Brody isn't there. Just isn't quite there. He needs another few tenths if he wants to do that. And that's Ballin, not Ballin, that's Norch coming out the pit lane to be lapped already on lap 5 out of 35 by the race leaders. So they're going on to that slick tyre again. So in theory they can get back into the race. So they won't be making another pit stop for a while at least. But it does look like that circuit is getting nice and dry, doesn't it? So it does look like that intermediate tyre wasn't the one to go for, and you just had to try and wait it out. Although you can see some raindrops on your screen right now, it kind of looks like the sky is getting a little bit brighter and the track is getting a little bit less greasy. It's still greasy, but it's not as bad as it was. So these guys might be starting to get a bit more confidence on the car, just not on the curbs, as we saw Blake do earlier on. And again, just now, Brody going very close to the back of Blake there. Now, with the drier circuit, it looks nice and dry now. They might have an opportunity here. DRS might be available on the next lap, possibly. Breezer goes for a fastest lap this time. Brody immediately takes it away. Lovely stuff. You can see 4 something seconds on that lap. So really, really nicely done. And that is the Red Bull taking a fast lap despite being behind Blake here. DRS is available now. Not going to be close enough to make a move. And I think that's the rain light gone, unless Blake's just down on ERS. He is pretty down on ERS, but he should be good to carry on anyway. Up through turn 4, Brody might want to have a look sooner rather than later. He's been behind the Williams for a while, and Breezer actually, I didn't realise, is right there. So he could find himself getting 2 positions if he's not careful, or if he's smart about it, I should say. Now, Norch is right there. He's not really able to get through. I don't know if he's going to try and get through as these guys battle. It would be pretty cheeky to do so, but if he was quick enough, in theory he'd be allowed to do it. Only if he's quick enough though. So we'll see what he does, but these guys will be pitting within the next lap or 2, and then he'll be able to unlap himself. Dark's up for a fastest lap. 21.8. Brody cannot now go for a move on Blake. They've got the DRS, but it's not enough because of that DRS train. So he's in a really difficult situation at the moment here, and that's unfortunately Norch retired from the session. That's them out. Could this bring out a safety car? Yes, it will, and that will be a perfect pit stop for the soft tyre runners. Lovely, lovely stuff indeed. But it is now a 2-stop or a hard tyre, so that is possibly not the most ideal situation to be in. They've got to do a 2-stop or onto a hard tyre, and with what we've seen so far, it might be the time to go for a 2-stop, but we'll see. Vortex is going for the 2-stop. He's going to go on to set of softs and then mediums later on in the Grand Prix. It's still going to be quite a struggle, I think, but all these guys on the softs will get a nice advantage. Will Brody try and take the lead of the 2 Red Bulls, or is he going to follow his fellow Red Bull in to the pit lane? They've got a bit of a gap in between themselves, so they do have a bit of a buffer and it won't be so bad. But anyway, Dark Salt is going to go into the pit lane. The question is he going to go aggressive and go for a 2-stop, or is he going to go onto the hards and go for that standard strategy? I reckon he might have been aiming for a 1-stop, but that's definitely put him in a bit of a difficult situation here. Onto the hard tyres, he's going to go aggressive. I say medium tyre is going to go aggressive. Brody stays out, and he does do what I said. He does go for that lead onto the into the safety car, and now he's the lead Red Bull driver, and he's going to try and hold on to a 1-stop here. So The question is he going to be a good boy, and is he going to let Dark Salt go through when he gets to pass, because the chances are he will get to pass, or is he going to try and defend from him? I don't quite know, but these guys both need to pit at some point in this Grand Prix anyway. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But as it is, Brody leads the way. Larlick's in the middle of the two Red Bulls. The Dark Salt has actually got a car in between himself and the race leader, which is brilliant for Brody because it gives him a little bit more of a reaction time, but it's not ideal for Dark Salt. Also, talking from experience, he's got to be careful because if the blue flag car all of a sudden decides to let him go through, he could be in a bit of trouble. So he's got to make sure that he keeps an eye on that blue flag car. That blue flag car needs to wait to let him go until they've made the corner and they're on that straight and have ghosted again, because otherwise they'll slam the brakes on and Dark Salt could go straight into the back of him. Breezer's now in P3, Blake's in P4 onto the hard side, so he's doing that one stop. Breezer's got some experience from yesterday. He doesn't seem to like the hards. Balin on the in P5 right now, Tommy in P6, and then we have Vortex, PJ and Larlick. So we have, of course, Balin on the medium tyre. We have Tommy on the hards. Blake, I don't know if I already said, is on the hards as well. Vortex, PJ both on the softs going aggressive, and then Larlick as well onto that medium tyre. Unfortunately for them, they are a lap down, so not ideal, but it is what it is for now. They're just going to have to try their best and hope that, really for them, either the two race leaders crash each other out or a safety car comes out and they're allowed to stay out whereas everybody else pits. I don't know. But right now they're in a bit of a difficult situation. Alrighty. Brody leads the way. The longer the safety car is out, the more time those tyres will be on circuit and the less peak performance they will get. Of course, percentage-wise, tyre temperature-wise though, they'll get a bit more of a benefit. So they could still gain from this. We'll have to wait and see though. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But it is a Red Bull 1-2. Breezer in P3, maybe looking for a win here. Where they know that Brody's going to have to make another pit stop. They know if he's not pitting now, he's going for a one stop. PJ just about catches up and the safety car is going to be confirmed to go in. When will Brody go for it? That's the question. He had this situation yesterday and it didn't go quite to plan, so he's got a second opportunity. Redemption time. Is he going to make it work? Can he gain that extra time that he needs on this strategy? Is he going to go for it early? There it goes. There it goes. Lovely stuff. He's gone for it and Larlick reacts okay. But of course he's going to have to give way for Dark Salt. Dark Salt's going to react fairly nicely as well. They're going to be right behind their teammate and the German is through. Breezer in P3. They're going to have to get through the ghost car as well of Larlick, because Larlick's just going to have to let them go really. Blake is also going to follow through and they've done pretty well to keep close to Breezer on those hard tyres. So yeah, not too bad for Blake actually. That's a pretty underrated start from them. They've done a really good job there. Vortex in P5. Brody gets himself a 3-second time penalty unfortunately, so pushing a little bit too hard on the restart there. That's going to cause him some issues later on in the Grand Prix. Vortex of course in P5 as we said, and he's going to want to try and get through Larlick. Blake in P6, and then we have PJ who really wants to make these softs work sooner rather than later, because otherwise he's going to be in trouble. So he has to push like absolute mad to get this done, and hopefully he doesn't have the issues that he's been having so far. Onto the inside he goes, and that is weird from Balin. He didn't seem to leave any space, and that is PJ trying to close the door, but Balin tried to go for the move. I don't know, somebody might have damage from that one. Nobody goes into the pit lane, so nobody supposedly has got damage. I don't think. Brody goes for fastest lap, and Dark Soul isn't actually really closing in on him. So right now, he's still a bit of a distance behind. The yellow flag, unfortunately, as that's Blake making mistakes. That hard tyre is not planning to be too good after all, and that is their front right end plate gone. Damage for the American. It's not nice to see at all. And they're just going to have to try and get back to the pit lane, of course. It is what it is. Larlick unfortunately has spun as well, but they get back around. Now Brody's still leading this way, or this race I should say, and 1.1 seconds is the gap, so he's got a bit of pace in the car actually. A lot more than I expected for this age of soft tyres, and maybe if he can keep this up, he might try and go out for a little bit longer on these tyres. DRS is now enabled, so there could be some movement further down the field, but at the moment it's just going to be as it is. Let's watch on board with a lap from the Broadster. P2, turn 2, into turn 3. These tyres are going to get some understeer in them in a couple laps, if not already. Holding on nicely into turn 5, up to 6 and 7 here. Got to throw the car around, and that responsiveness is what you won't have from a set of these tyres, but he gets through it nicely. The S sections now. Into 11. Exiting turn 12. Nicely within track limits for both of those turns 4 and turn 12 corners. Lovely stuff, nice and tidy. Keeping off that right hand side curve. I've made that mistake myself many times. It will throw you off. But holding on nicely, a very tidy lap there with Brody around the final corner now. And that's it done. Lovely stuff. A 3-second time penalty, unfortunately for Vortex. He is in P4 at the moment. But they've just got to hope that no more safety cars come out, really, and they've got to hope that their strategy right now works. Brody going for that one stop. Dark Soul, in the meantime, has closed up. The sun's shining a little bit brighter. It's going to heat the tyres up a little bit more as well. But, you know, maybe it's a bit nicer to have some sunshine. I don't know. I'm absolutely waffling here. Dark Soul goes purple, so he's definitely the quicker out of the two. And with Brody's time penalty, is Brody going to defend, or is he just going to let him go and secure points for the team? Of course, Brody is a reserve driver today. He's not actually a permanent driver yet. He's looking for a seat when it can become available, and unfortunately that's PJ round. More issues again. Looks like he's avoided the wall, but not a second spin, and that might have been a touch of the wall. But I don't know, that's not ideal. It's going to lose them a lot of time. Hopefully they can get back in it later on. Doesn't need to fight Dark Soul anyway. He's going to make the pit stop. He's done what he needs. Didn't want to extend any more than he had to. So he does go into the pit lane. PJ retires from the session. That's them out. And no safety car is deployed. It is just a retirement from PJ, a voluntary retirement there. And of course, Brody comes out in P5 now. Tommy also pitting, and a couple of people getting time penalties. I think that was Blake, and I can't remember who else that was. It might have been Larlick there. So not ideal for them, of course, but it is what it is. Now we have Breezer into P2, and they're on the same strategy as Dark Soul. They're going to be pretty rapid right now, but they're going to have to go for another set of softs towards the end of the Grand Prix unless they feel more comfortable on a set of mediums. But It's going to be difficult. Brody's not going to be pitting again. He has got a 3-second time penalty, and he's got a couple cars in between him. So he has to get past those guys, of course, and then he can start catching to the cars ahead. But right now it's a bit of a difficult situation, and that's Blake making a mistake, and that's a full safety car. Oh, don't believe what just happened there. Blake on the right-hand side on the exit of turn 5. That's an interesting place to crash again. Don't quite know what happened there, but that is Blake out of the race. Williams not going to score any points for the feature race. Heck of a shame for the Williams team. That does now promote Larlock up the order, and Larlock really shouldn't make any pit stops here. He really has to try and unlap himself if he wants to make any moves, because currently I think he's a lap behind Tommy Gunn as well. We'll have to see what happens. Tommy Gunn isn't pitting. Larlock is. Alrighty. Is this going to allow Dark Salt to make a pit stop here? Is he going to want to go for a pit stop? Because this is a very annoying safety car period, to be honest. It's not ideal at all. But he might still be able to gain something from it. I think he'll probably stay out. Yep. As expected. The only real tyre that you can go for at this stage is a set of hards, because you'll be in about 20 laps. Breezer does go into the pit lane. Vortex, Balin also does. Brody might be able to gain from here, but he is actually a little bit too far back to actually gain. So has Brody made a mistake? Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have damage, but he's a lot further back than I thought he was. So I think he might have had an issue that we didn't quite see. But the safety car is going to save him. He doesn't need to pit though. So Brody's actually been saved here. Time penalty wise, not so much, but strategy wise, yes. He's been definitely benefited quite nicely. Valent going to go for a set of hard tyres. Breezer is going for that medium tyre. So is Vortex, and silly me, I don't know why I was saying that. You can actually go onto the medium tyre. It's not the hard tyre that is the only option. The medium tyre is also a tyre that you can go onto. Of course, we saw it yesterday from Breezer, and we saw it today, right now, from Brody. So, did Brody make a pit stop? Maybe that's why. Maybe he didn't make a mistake. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah. So, that is Vortex onto those medium tyres, and Breezer also onto that medium tyre. So, for what he had yesterday, strategy-wise, this is going to be an absolute walk in the park, because he's got some fresher tyres as well. Instead of pitting on lap 12, he's pitted on lap 16. So, nice stuff for Breezer. Dark Salt stayed out. He doesn't want to make another pit stop. I don't know if that's the best idea. He's going to have to make another pit stop. He'll have some pace in the car, of course. He'll be able to stay out for a little bit, and then he'll go for a set of softs later on in the race. It's just, will he be able to catch up to the pack and overtake them all again? I don't quite know, but maybe he was just hoping that he would stay ahead of his teammate. Alrighty, once again we're under the safety car conditions. Dark Salt leads the way. Breezer in P2, Vortex P3 with a time penalty, unfortunately. Let's have a quick look at those time penalties, shall we? Just quickly go to them. We do have a 6-second for Vortex, Balint P4, no time penalties. Brody has a 3-second, Tommy with none in P6, and Larlock back pack with a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunately, they are a lap down the whole field, but they can still score points if they finish this race. So it's not all bad. Looking at the fastest lap, let's have a look at that as well. Blake currently sits there with a fastest lap, an 18.495. With these fresh tyres, maybe these guys can do something about it. Don't quite know, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, fastest lap could still be in contention for these guys. I don't know if Blake will have just got away with it that easily, especially midway through the race, really it is. I don't think you can get a fast lap unless you're absolutely mega on that lap. But the chances are these tyres are going to be working pretty well with the amount of fuel that they'll have in the car, so lap times will go down, of course. Nothing against Blake, I was saying, just clarifying that there. But anyway, just gotta wait here, as we'll be going racing on the next lap. Darksalt's going to be thinking what he needs to do here, because he's got a very difficult strategy on his hands. He's going to have to be aggressive but fair. He's got a couple cars to overtake, even if he's leading at the moment. And he's also got to stay out within the track limits, so he has to be clean about it. Now, just thinking, what lap does he need to pit? Be around about lap 28, really. So he's got to go another 10 laps on these tyres. But he could possibly make it 25, 26 laps instead if he really wanted to. Or he could put sooner rather than later and go for a fresh set of medium tyres. Maybe he prefers that. Don't quite know. And then he'd only have to pit on lap 24-ish, 23-ish, maybe. The peak performance, I'd say. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. We'll have to wait and see. Wait for that confirmation of safety car to go in this lap. There it is. Lovely stuff. Darksalt holds the lead of the Grand Prix once again. And Red Bull find themselves leading for I don't know how many times this season. When is Darksalt going to go for it? Breezer going to react behind. Safety car is now in the pit lane, so he can go any time from now on. Got to wait for it to actually reach that line. Is he going to go for it early? Yes, he will. Fairly early. It was a gradual start. Just wanted to make sure he didn't get caught out by that pit limiter. Breezer did get caught out by Vortex, who's actually right behind the Alfa Romeo. Going to have a go on the inside line. Breezer's going to leave some space, but not as well. They're going to try and squeeze him as much as they possibly can, but they're actually just going to have to go a bit defensive because Brody's right there now. He could be threatening them. He's got a lot of pace in that car. Got a pole position, of course. He's very rapid. In the lead of the championship coming into this event as well. So definitely a big threat. But he holds on for now. And Vortex got that nice early move. So reacted really nicely on the safety car. And Breezer's found himself a little bit of a headache. Tommy Gunn also right behind these guys. And while these guys are all battling, Darksalt's been able to escape a little bit. And this is brilliant for his strategy. This is what he needs. And especially with a couple people getting those time penalties, it's everything that he wants here. Brody not going to be able to overtake just yet unless they can take a different line here, get early on the power. Maybe get a run into turn one. I think they're going for it. They're using that ERS. Breezer's going to react as well and use the ERS to the inside line on the brakes. He's going to really go for it, give it a shot. Breezer leaves the space. Has to ride the curb again, but still manages to smoothly get on the throttle. And that is lovely, lovely stuff. Honestly, I wouldn't ride the curb because it usually loses you traction. But he's doing it and making it work really nicely as well. Gets a lovely run. Might even have a go on Vortex, but I think he's just going to be a bit too far back to actually do so. Definitely at this stage of the Grand Prix. It's not worth the risk! No way! Breezer's out! Breezer's out! No way did that just happen! On turn 4 in the dirty air, and they get caught out big time. And once again, believe it or not, with just a lap of racing, we'll be under safety car conditions again. So we're going to be going to about lap 24, and Dark Salt's going to have a nice opportunity to pit here. Vortex and Brody, they got a pain with the safety car, of course. Safety car? I mean the time penalties. And in theory, if everybody pitted, Larlock would be able to unlap themselves. Unfortunately, not everybody's going to pit. Don't know if Larlock's going to decide to make a pit stop. If he doesn't, he stays out. He'll jump some cars. And I say some cars, one car, which is Dark Salt, who's going to go down to P5 now. Onto a set of medium tyres, and they're going to go to the end of the Grand Prix. They'll be pretty rapid. They got no time penalties. They just need to bring it home. Of course, Brody with that time penalty and a little bit more age on the tyres. Darksalt has a great opportunity here. And not for the first time, but the first time in a while, this guy now leads the Grand Prix in the safety car conditions. Let's maybe not talk about what happened last time on the safety car restart, but he does have, once again, a second chance at redeeming himself. When will we be going for a restart here? Don't quite know. We'll have to wait and see. Alrighty. I think we still have to do another lap, so I don't think we're going to be going in just yet. We'll have to wait a little bit longer before the confirmation. So we'll be going racing again in the next lap. This will be the final time these guys can react. Strategy-wise, of course, only 6 drives remaining. And I don't know what Brody's doing there. He tries to overtake Dark Salt, that's interesting. So Brody must have made a mistake because he's lost that position to his teammate, and now he's trying to retake the position. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but as long as it's not causing any incidents, we should be fine. Nobody pitted, nobody's got damage. Vortex leads the way, Tommy in P2. And he's driving right now in memory of his teammate, who we just lost a lap or two ago. And we have Ballant in P3 at his home Grand Prix, holding on nicely. He's actually the only driver on that hard tyre, so he's going to be pretty consistent to the end. He doesn't need to worry about tyres. It's just he might not be the quickest on that tyre, so he can still do good here. It's just not going to be too easy. Alrighty. Just a couple more minutes and then we will be getting going racing once again. Here we go. Oh, one corner maybe. 2 more corners to go and then we'll get that confirmation. There it is. Lovely stuff. Safety car in this lap. Vortex leads the way. When's he going to go for it? Is he going to go for it early? Is he going to go for it late? Has to wait for that safety car to get in to avoid the pit limiter. Of course, the pit limiter. The safety car limiter, I should say. Tommy's going to have to react here. And of course, you've got the 2 Red Bulls who've got a bit of pace on them. And time penalties will come into play later on in the Grand Prix. He's gone for it early. He's gone for it early. And the safety car limiter hasn't got him. Oh, yes it has. Yes it has. Yes it has. And he's had to go for a false restart. He's going to be in trouble for that one. Going to be in big trouble for that one. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. think he went a little bit too early, and that is Tommy Gunn getting challenged from Balin, and Dark Salt's now on the inside of the Aston, gonna have to leave the space. Dark Salt trying to squeeze him as Balin makes a little bit of contact, and he's now going to be under threat from the Red Bull, and he's round, unfortunately, and that is damage for the home man. Unfortunately, I don't know what just happened there, but yeah, that's not ideal. He was on the inside of Brody, and yeah, that was very sus sentence, but he was on the inside at turn 3, and then Brody had the outside line, so that was a very tricky situation to be in. Alrighty. Vortex leads the way though, back in the top of the grid. Tommy Gunn not quite able to keep with Vortex. Dark Salt is right there, and of course Brody is there as well. Will Tommy Gunn be able to hold on to P2 for now, or is Dark Salt going to go for it nice and early? Looks like he's going for it pretty early. Goes defensive slightly, but moves to the outside line. Dark Salt then takes the opportunity to go to the inside line. And Brody, can he get a good exit and get onto the Alpha? No, he's just going to have to hold on for now. That is Dark Salt through. Brody spots the position, spots a mistake from Tommy, and he's going to have to let him go. I don't know why it cut to Valiant there, but that is Tommy down to P4 as Brody did go for the outside line, and I don't know why it went to Valiant. I do apologise for that. Maybe I was just being stupid, I don't quite know. Brody, a bit of a mistake there, but nothing too much to worry about. They do have enough tyre life to go to the end. Dark Salt, though, he of course has an extreme advantage on tyres, an extreme advantage on track position and time penalties. So he can fight Brody here, and if he does fight him, that will obviously prevent Brody from getting past of that time penalty, but it will also probably use his utility, his ERS and things like that. So he's got to be really tactical in the way he does it. DRS will be available at the end of this lap, so when they cross the line, of course, Dark Salt goes for fastest lap there. Now I'm wondering, will Dark Salt go for the move straight away and just try and focus on the race, or is he going to hold in Vortex's DRS just to make sure Brody can't get through? I don't know. I don't know what they would do here, because of course if you win as a reserve driver, you win overall anyway. So if they are going to want to go for the win, they've got to make sure it counts. And Vortex, if he was ahead and they had a train, it's not going to be easy for him. And I'm talking about Brody. It wouldn't be easy for Brody to actually get through, because that DRS automatically cancels itself out, and he'd have a very hard time of getting through. Tommy almost in that DRS train, but not quite enough yet. And this is the moment that we will see Dark Salt or Vortex take the lead of the Grand Prix. Is he going to hold on, or is Dark Salt going to regain it back? Is he going for the early move? He's got the DRS, he has the inside line now, and it's going to be pretty straightforward. I don't think Vortex is really going to fight it too hard. As he does not do so, he holds P2, and Brody's going to have to wait behind, looking a little bit impatient there as he tries to go for a bit of a look to the outside, but it wasn't enough, and he's just going to have to wait for now, and he gets another 3-second time penalty! Another 3-second time penalty for Brody as he goes very, very wide on the exit of turn 3. No way did that just happen, and that just all of a sudden made Dark Salt's life much, much easier. He's got a car in between himself and his teammate, and a 6-second time penalty to add to the fun as well. Not ideal for Brody. Vortex also on a 6-second time penalty here, so these guys are racing for position. Will Dark Salt escape DRS in time, or is he gonna not be able to? That was a very interesting choice of words. Is Vortex gonna hold on to DRS? That's the question. Dark Salt's right there still, so he will hold on to DRS for now. And that will make it nice and easy for him to defend from Brody, unless Brody gets a mega exit, and he's very, very close despite the DRS equalising itself. He's very, very close, using as much ERS as he possibly can. Gonna send it on the inside line, once again riding that curb. Vortex has the outside line now to the inside. He has DRS, of course, on Dark Salt, but he backs out. He's not going to fight it. He knows Brody really wants to get through, and he's not going to try and risk anything here. So he holds on for now. And the race lead is inherited by Dark Salt. And it's a Red Bull 1-2. Brody goes purple. He's got some pace in that car. Now, he could still win this race in theory. He needs to get ahead and extend that time penalty though. So, looking at the situation, we have about 9 laps remaining of the Grand Prix. It'll be about 9.5, and we're about to cross the line to make it 8 laps. So 8 laps and over 6 seconds. It's not very easy, but it's not impossible. Once again, extending those track limits there, but does get a fastest lap. So that's the kind of stuff that he needs here if he's not going to get a win. He closes up nicely to Dark Salt, and he's going to try and put himself in a position to maybe make a move into turn 2, but I think he'll probably go for a move into turn 1 on the next lap anyway. He is nice and close though. A lovely run. He's got a nice amount of straight line speed in that car. So if you look at it, we've got, was that 8 laps I said? We're on about 7.5 already. We're about to reach 7 when we hit lap 29. So he's running out of time. And it would be so difficult. It would just be just under a second per lap he'd need to gain. Oh, and Dark Salt makes a big mistake, and that is going to be Brody taking the lead of the Grand Prix. No question about it. No question about it. That's it gone for now. Time penalties, of course, will say otherwise. And Dark Salt's not going to fight it hard. He's just going to try and hold on. He still can hold on. But that's just under a second per lap that Brody needs to get on Dark Salt in order to win this Grand Prix. If Dark Salt can hold on to DRS for at least 1 lap, then that'll be a great advantage. Tyre wear wise, he has a massive advantage as well. It's just, is the outright pace there or not? You know Brody's extremely quick. And his tyres aren't going to be completely dead just yet. 9/10. Almost there. Brody just needs to squeeze a bit more out of that. And he'll be done. So close. There you go. That's the 1 second margin. Is it going to be enough? Is Dark Salt going to get him into the DRS line? There it is. And Brody does manage to break away. So that is Dark Salt out of DRS range. So lap 1, he has extended a second. He has extended a second. So if he could do another second, he could be on cue to take the win here. It's going to be a very difficult thing to do. And of course, the longer we go into this race, the older his tyres are going to get as well. So just over 6 laps, or just under 6 laps remaining of the Grand Prix. Bit of a mistake there for Dark Salt, and that's not going to help him at all. Although he's got it fairly easy time penalty wise, he still can't afford to make any mistakes. The advantage he will have now is he has no risk of dirty air and Brody ahead. Not that there was really much of a difference earlier on, but it will allow his tyres to be nice and cool. And at this stage, he just needs to keep it within track limits and wait for that tyre switchover to happen, where the pace will drop down naturally for Brodie and he won't be able to escape anymore. This lap, let's say, as we come around the final corner, it's looking about half a second, so that's not enough. That's not enough. About half a second from Dark Salt. So Dark Salt, if he can keep this up, he would be able to hold on for now. Obviously, though, if you do have a 6 second, you might have a chance of getting it take a 3 second at least taken away. It's very unlikely you can get both 6 seconds taken away, but it's not impossible. Really, Dark Salt's target is to not drop behind over a 3 second gap, just to be safe. But obviously, if it does go any further, he doesn't need to worry a massive amount, but it is just going to risk that situation. Let's go and have a look at these guys now, as they're nice and close to one another, Vortex and Tommy Gunn. Vortex teammate in P6, so they could still score some good points for Alpine, although they are in a Mercedes. Tommy Gunn, or his teammate, unfortunately made that mistake, and that was the last safety car that we saw. And at this stage of the race, I think that's going to be the final safety car that we will see. These guys are they equal on time penalties? Let's have a quick look. No, they aren't. Vortex on a 9 second time penalty, and Tommy is on a 3 second. So they are in a difficult situation, but it's not too bad. They will only lose one position. So there's a 6 second difference that they'd need to have to get ahead of Tommy, unless Tommy gets a time penalty. Oh no, and that's Brodie! Brodie makes a mistake and he's got wing damage! I don't believe it! I don't believe it! He had so much pace in that car! He was doing such a good job! That was a 2.1 second lead I think he had, and that's it! That's Brodie done! He's gone! Out of the Grand Prix! I don't know what I've seen. I do not know what's just happened. That's Brodie. Going to be out of this Grand Prix unless he's completed 80% of the race, 90% of the race I should say, which he might have done. I think he might have done. So he would still score points. But of course, Larlock will jump him, so he'll be in P6 or lower. Dark Salt now inherits the lead, and he's got a very nice, comfortable gap. And let's have a quick look at fastest lap. Brodie does have it for now. These guys are fighting. Vortex goes defensive. Tommy takes the opportunity to go around the outside, has a quick look. Backs off to try and have a go at a switchback. Gets DRS here. Does he get a good enough exit? Can he have a go on the brakes? Yes, he is. Into turn 3. Oh, that was a cheeky close of the door. Luckily for him, it was legal, as Tommy didn't quite get there. If Tommy did go for that move, that would have been Vortex fault, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that is Tommy going for that attempt. I'm just going to have to wait for now. ERS-wise, 40% for them. And about the same for Vortex, so they're pretty much on par with pace. Tommy's got that DRS force to help him. He just needs to make sure he secures a good run out of the final corner, and then he'll have a nice opportunity. Of course, though, for him, the risk isn't worth that much with the time penalty difference, 6 second time penalty difference. He has a 3 second, and Vortex has a 9 second. At the final corner now, very different lines these guys are taking. Vortex takes a very, a much superior line. Tommy's going to gain a lot. Defensive goes Vortex, back to the outside line goes Tommy. Can he get a good enough exit? DRS available. It's not going to be enough into turn 2. And he'll have to hold on once again. So maybe he's just playing with Vortex here. Just trying to make sure he doesn't try and think about going anywhere with the DRS. I don't know. He just needs to Keep it together and he'll be on for a P2 here. Alrighty. On lap 34 to 35. Final few laps remaining, and Tommy actually had a look there. That was interesting. He actually had a look. Dark Salt starts the final lap of the Grand Prix, and he's on his way to win for the first time in a while. It would be awesome to see him on that top step. He's done a very good job. Vortex. Very hard to the inside this time. Tommy to the outside once again. This time, instead of letting him go, he's trying to hold it to the outside. Got the DRS again. Nice and close, and he's going to be able to stick his nose in this time. Vortex cannot let him go, and he pushes him very, very wide. The cars are interlocked, and that's a very difficult situation to be in. Vortex holds on to the position, and it's not really worth it. Tommy Gunn has the advantage on time penalties anyway. Just wanted to try and get the move done, but I think that's going to be it. We're going to have to look at this guy, though. What a race he's had. We saw him on Friday at the Austrian Grand Prix. Did a great job there. Did he get a podium? I can't quite remember. He was fighting for it for sure. But this time, he definitely does get a podium. He gets much better than a podium. He's going to come around the final few corners, and he's going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Dark Salt wins. Well done indeed. Lovely, lovely stuff. Amazing job. The strategy for him was difficult, but that final safety car, that played into his hands. An absolute treat. An absolute treat, and he is able to benefit from that massively. Tommy is going to take P2 in the end. Really well done. Vortex will take their first podium ever. Well done to them. Balint is going to come across the line in P4. Brody might be classed as disconnected, and Lalek will finish in P6 or P5 if Brody is classed as disconnected. But we'll have to see how that plays out later on. This guy's done it. He's done it. He's done it. Well done indeed. An amazing drive. Not too bad. And that is great points to the championship. It's his first race in the Saturday tier. That's going to jump him up the order a little bit. That is for sure. We'll have to wait and see if he gets into the top 5 of the standings in a bit, just before the page interviews. But we'll have a quick look at the standings and see how it goes. Tommy, driver of the day. Fair play indeed. And Dark Salt does a very good job there. Dark Salt wins. Tommy Gunn in P2. Vortex for the first ever podium. Amazing job for them. Balint in P4. Brody disconnected in P5 with a fastest lap. Lalek P6. Breezer DNFing, followed by Blake, PJ Norch and JMO earlier on in the session. We're going to have a look through the rest of the grid with the driver's section, the incident section, and then finally we'll go to the pit stop section, and then we'll be back for the post-race interviews along with a quick look at the standings. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI Summer Season. We're today for the post-race interviews of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, we don't have any post-race interviews, but I will say some words. But we'll have a quick look at the standings. It is a big mix-up now with Balint leading the way. I believe we'll have to double-check what Brody gets later on, so make sure you check the standings afterwards. I don't quite know. But Brody disconnecting might mean that he doesn't score points. It might mean that he does. I don't quite know. But Balint now leads the way for Aston Martin. That puts Brody down to P2. Dark Soul alone on that weekend is now up to P3. 2 Red Bulls in the top 3. You've got Larlick in P4. And Sidewinder, who was leading last weekend, is now down to P5. Now, let's have a look at that race. It was very hectic. But you know what? It was it was a good one. I've no idea what I'm clicking there. Sorry for that. It was a good one. There were some moments that were maybe not so good, and we'd like to forget. But there was some great racing, and we of course saw Dark Soul and JMO win. JMO winning his first race that was actually streamed as well. So that's great to see for him. Shame it didn't go quite to plan for the feature race, but other than that, yeah, it was a race that was a mixture of emotions for many different people. We saw Vortex, of course, get their first podium as well. And Balint now leads the championship. So it is a very interesting one. Next up, we've got Bahrain. That is a great track for racing. It's a very tricky one on the tyres, very technical as well. So it's really going to be it's going to test the drivers quite a lot, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a great circuit to race at, and I hope we can see some more good stuff. I'm completely waffling right now, honestly. Other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back next week on Friday and Saturday, of course, for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We'll be back next week, hopefully on Tuesday, for some more open lobbies. So if you do want to get involved, please do so. We'll be on YouTube as well for those. But yeah, other than that, thank you much. It's been a pleasure and good night. Bye-bye.